How's it going, everybody? I'm Ryan and this is Minus the Gym. And in this video we're taking a very close look at the Pseudo Planche push-up. This is a great push-up variation that really works the shoulders, the biceps, the wrists. I mean, overall a very different style of push-up, and it's a lead up to the planche. Alright, so great planche progression. And I have a lot I want to talk about, so let's dive right in. First is hand placement. You want to place your hands flat on the floor in a pronated position like this, but you want to externally rotate. All right, so you want to rotate, you want to supinate at the forearms, rotating your hands outwards. I recommend at least 45 degrees, but I prefer about 90 degrees out. If you try to do any planche progressions with your fingers pointed straight forward, then it's really going to put a lot of stress on your wrists. All right, you're going to be in extreme wrist extension in any planche progression and in pseudo planche push-ups. So to alleviate some of that, you want to externally rotate the hands. Make sure you do that. And also, I want you to keep in mind as you're working on this that this is a straight arm exercise, meaning your arm should be completely locked out. And a lot of people have asked me, well, how do you know if you're locking out? What's a good sign of that? You want to feel it in the bicep, right? Especially in this exercise, because you are externally rotating. When you supinate the forearm, that makes your biceps start to act as stabilizers. So you should really feel it. You should feel a stabilizing contraction in the biceps as you work on planche leans and pseudo planche push-ups and really any planche progressions.
To do a pseudo planche push-up, start off in a prone position on the floor using the hand placement I just described. Come up onto your toes, and what you want to do is not let the hips sag like that. Instead, engage posterior pelvic tilt by contracting the abs and glutes. Then press hard into the floor to engage scapular protraction and lean forward so that your shoulders are in front of the hands, and you do this by pressing off with your toes. From this position with your shoulders in front of your hands, you want to perform push-ups in a slow and controlled manner. And the key thing here is that I want to point out is a lot of people, including myself, tend to move our head backwards as we push up in the concentric phase of this movement. So make sure you keep your head forward in a straight line as you perform these. And as you get better at it, you can speed up the reps a little bit and keep form. But again, make sure on the concentric you keep your head forward. Don't let your body move backwards. Naturally, some of us are going to try this and find it too difficult in the beginning. And if that's the case, here are a couple progressions for you. First off is the planche lean. Get up on your toes, engage posterior pelvic tilt and scapular protraction, and then simply just lean forward so that your shoulders are in front of your wrists. And hold this position for an isometric contraction. One way to progress your planche leans is to simply hold them for longer holds. But another way to do it is to use pieces of tape on the floor where you practice. The first piece of tape marks your hand placement. The second piece of tape is your line of vision, directly below your eyes. And what you do to measure the length of your forward lean is gradually over time move that second piece of tape further and further away from the first. This gives you a way to accurately measure the distance of your forward lean in the planche lean. Now the next progression as you work on your planche leans is negatives. So in a planche lean, perform a negative down to your knees and then come back to the starting position on your toes, posterior pelvic tilt, scapular protraction, lean forward and perform another rep of a slow eccentric. I recommend starting with about 3 to 5 second negatives, and then once you get those down, about 5 reps per set, building up to 5 to 8 second negatives. Doing a slow eccentric like this will help you build the strength for the full pseudo planche push-up. And one more quick bonus exercise for those of you who are trying to build up to the tucked planche is to perform a planche lean and do what I call planche lean tucks by dragging the feet forward, landing for just a second in this tucked planche position with your knees, shins, feet, and toes off the floor. And then after holding that for a split second, lowering slowly to the floor and then returning to the starting position on your toes to repeat. These planche lean tucks are great for individuals like myself who found the tucked planche to be too difficult in the beginning. It's a great way to just introduce the strength you're going to need to hold the tucked planche. So give these a shot if you're in that category.
And lastly, I just want to mention that everybody's at their own point in their journey, and planche leans and any kind of planche progressions put a huge burden on the wrists. So if anyone tells you that you're not leaning far forward enough, in your pseudo planche push-ups or your planche lean or anything, just ignore them, all right? It's gonna take time to develop that strength and mobility in the wrists. And the last thing you wanna do is try to force it and injure yourself. So make sure you just do the planche leans and the pseudo planche push-ups at whatever distance of lean you're currently comfortable with. Keep challenging yourself, but not risking injury. All right, everybody, if this tutorial was helpful to you and it was direct and to the point, please drop a like because that helps me out in return. And if you're new to my channel, it's all about body weight fitness and eating healthy. So if that sounds up your alley, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications because that way you'll get notified as soon as I upload a new video. And with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Talk to you later.